Good Tuesday morning, peoples. This one is about updating YETH, YBTC, and the new weekly. I gotta find them. I got a whole bunch of tabs here. Let me get situated where I put this. All right. So before I do YETH and YBTC with their updates, part of my title was that Roundhill is announcing today an MSTR base. Think Misty, right? Think MST. Oh, MSII, IMST. The list is growing. Well, Roundhill, one of my favorite funds, is now launching MSTW. I don't know the other four. I don't know if they're going to do it in an hour or two or later today. Today is the target date, but I did get some info that said MSTW was part of it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what I would prefer they launched and just sort of guess. Uh, won't be right, right? And I'm assuming they're going to do five. I don't even know that they're going to do five. But before I finish that, let's talk about how they've covered the weeklies, right? So they have a fund called Week, right? That's not in a pun based on the days of the week or anything. It's a fund. It's a 4.5% payer. It pays once a week, but think of it as Treasury T-bill, just parking your money and getting paid weekly. Some people like that, you know. Some of the brokerage companies, depends on whether you're with Schwab, Fidelity. I hear Fidelity. I have an account there, but I don't have a lot that I sweep. It's one of my smaller accounts. They have something that's automated with Swab, you basically, they move it in and out. So I don't know. Somebody was talking about it in a group one time, and I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to that. But this one, you can just go put your money there and get paid. Great way if you've got extra cash and you want to get paid on it weekly. On Tuesday, YBTC and YETH, right? Crypto, Ether, and BTC. So I'm going to go over and update the two payments for those. On Wednesday, everybody knows their index ones. We now know the Yield Max ones. We know other companies. Defiance has been at it for a long time. Um, it's just that Max moved into the weeklies. Roundhill's been in the weeklies. So there's our XDTE, QDTE, and RDT. SPY, S&P 500, QQQs, Russell 2000. Maggie, sort of like it sounds, is a Magnificent Seven fund. That's a newer fund, pays on Thursdays. And then on Friday, oh my gosh, right? You got the five followed by the other five, and I'm guessing that five more will be announced today. I thought I read that somewhere. Clearly, today is the day, the 22nd, and I believe MST. I'm 99% sure that MSTW and MSTR fund will be announced today. All right, here's my other picks, guys. So got that one listed. I would love to see CrowdStrike. I think it's one of the top AI cybersecurity companies there are out there. If you look at the Gartner rankings on software and the endpoint group, they're the leader. They have been the leader for 5 years. SentinelOne's there, Microsoft's there. And I also like Baba, right? And I'm always looking to get out of Max, right? I don't own any Max Bobo, nor would I. So BABW would be my choice. Let's see if they roll it out. Now, you have a ZOM for quite some time, but being a commodities guy, I think oil will get much higher, and socio eco political, all kinds of things are prone to drive the price of oil higher. There's just too much tension in the world around the hot spots of where oil's produced. So I expect that to pay off well. Um, And then I don't like some of the, I've talked about this company. I don't like some of their what's the word I'm looking for? Non-fairness, but there's a better word. I can't think of it right now. Some of their sales tactics, they acquire companies and then they gouge those customers, to recoup what they paid for the companies. And they're usually companies that have products that are somewhat unique. So they're kind of the leader and they buy it out. They're a big giant company and then they charge a lot. They jack the fees up, and the poor customers are spent 6 months or a year. And I've seen that happen time and time again. I've known a lot of the companies that they bought out, but it's Broadcom, guys. I'll just tell you right out. So it's weird symbol, but the company, this AVG something another, is I think in 2016 bought out um, Broadcom, and or they bought out a company that wasn't Broadcom and made it Broadcom, but hence the symbol comes from this bigger financial oriented company that likely bought Broadcom. People still refer to it as Broadcom. But they own a lot of software companies and they have some unique, Broadcom does some unique network functionality that's still out there. So they're a big player and will always be a big player. Um, that would be, it's sort of my guess, but more to my liking, especially Zom, CrowdStrike. You know, Costco's not bad, but if we go into retail issues, you can look across ASML, right? A chip company. They actually, I think, supply the machines that the chip builders use, but I could be mixing them up. ARM, that's a different type of chip technology. Um, this would be interesting, kind of on the war machine, Lockheed Martin. They certainly supply a lot of of industrial, technical, aircraft, a whole lot of machinery and things that are used. Reddit would be an interesting one. Eh, Uber less so. TSM would be, but you definitely. So let's see what happens here. I won't belabor it. Let me get into YBTC and YIT. So what did YBTC declare? 52.4619 peoples. So it's a 56% yield. They were down 0.12 cents. Not much really in the week to week change. Here they are up here. Oops, this is going back to the old number. All right. That is 1530. So, as I had said before, that when you compare YBTC to these other, there's certainly a good BTC payer, and they're a good, when you have a 56% over this period of time from 10/17/2024. So we're coming up on a year, and I used everybody that has that. There's some newer players here that I do when I do a complete just BTC. This is really a Roundhill discussion. And then, oh, by the way, here's some competitors to Roundhill. All right. So I have Bitto winning this. IBIT, for those of you right here at Bitto. For those of you that don't know, IBIT is the underlying, one of the Vanguard or BlackRock. It's one of the big giant firms is sort of baseline um, IBIT, right? Baseline BTC ETFs. So there's a lot of options on there, a lot of volume. So it's good for the people that want to write their autumn options for weekly, monthly income. They utilize typically IBIT. So I have Bitto was 74.93 to BTCI. Neos is fun, but I like Neos. And look at this. In some fairness, BTCI should pay in about 4 days. So we probably will have an announcement in the next day or two. on those. I don't think anything is out. Did I? No. Okay, so that's forthcoming. Um, so you can see they're not that far off. I don't know what it would take them in revenue. Let's go out and take a look at that. So they haven't announced for July. Let me give them their average here for a minute and see what happens. So it takes them to 11.2. Yeah, okay. So they still don't win, guys. BITO still has locked that down. So I'm not going to put a number, but I like to do that to see what happens, especially if they're close. I guess it wasn't as close as I thought it was. All right, guys, that's what I got there. Let's do YETH, and I will finish this video up. Okay, so YETH has declared 34.345, down slightly from last week. They were actually up 204. Yes, problem has been really NAV erosion, right? That Ether has moved up and down like a yo-yo. So they came out at 52.27 not that long ago. Well, yeah, how many days? 316. What did I say on YBTC? Oh, 278, so actually longer. So their total return is only, and these are volatile. BTC is volatile, right? So you're at a situation where the problem is their NAV erosion. Coming out at 48 on 9.9, $48, they're currently 27.81. So that's not going to get it done. You've got a dividend annualized at almost 54%, but you've lost almost 49%. So your positive return is only 5%. That's frustrating to be in something. Now, some of you that really understand it, that follow Ether and jump in and out or buy it when it's low, knowing it's going to go up, that's how to beat these systems. You really have to be bullish on the underlying when you're in an income because they just don't perform as well as the underlying, right? All you got to do is go back here and look at IBIT. They win that at 98%. They don't pay any income. All right, guys, that's what I got for you on the weekly payers and what I think might be, but that's welcome MSTR fund. As popular as Misty is, that'll take some dollars over to Roundhill. So Misty's got the pressure on. They got to pay and they got to perform. All right, guys, this is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. Let's see what gets announced. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Have a great day ahead. Bye for now.